is up, my fellow mobile gamers? In today's video, we got our best class for PvP, player versus player, and PVE, player versus everything. Subscribe to the channel, thumbs up this video for more amazing mobile gaming content. We only got 3 classes to go over. We're going to do a brief synopsis of each one, and then I'm going to do a slightly deeper dive where we're going to go into their skills and just go over some of the different skills as well, just notable ones that I want to mention depending on who you might have chose. First up we have is the Blade Master, an expert in close combat. There is no real tank class in this game, and there's also no real healer. The Blade Master, the Gunslinger, and the Sage pretty much all do damage. Some do damage at different rates, higher rates, lower rates. Overall, they're pretty much, I would say all 3 of them are damage dealers. Before we go any further, I'm going to try and help you save a little bit of money with our sponsor today, AppGallery. Starting on October 20th, 2022, AppGallery will be launching a coupon campaign where you can go ahead and save some euro. In order to get the €2 coupon, all you have to do is spend a minimum of €5, and then in order to get the €5 coupon, all you have to do is spend a minimum of €20. You can then go ahead and use those coupons to make more in-app purchases to save you money. Also, don't forget to join their Discord group as well. They have some amazing giveaways all the time for a variety of different games, and right now for Time Raiders they have a giveaway where you can go ahead and win a Huawei coupon code. The Discord link will be down below in the description box and in the comment section as well. Next, I'm going to show you how to download and install AppGallery. We're going to go to the website. We are going to click download and install AppGallery. Then for selecting a country, make sure you put Italy no matter where you live. We're going to sign up using an email address. We're going to create one. Then we are going to do verification with our phone number. And then we are in. There it is. All of your favorite apps, your mobile games. The best part about it is the rewards and the gifts. Rewards are when you spend money in the game, you'll get a kickback, and then gifts. We have gifts for all of these different mobile games, which are exclusive that you can only find on AppGallery. The main Blade Master, and then once you get deeper into the game and you level up, you'll have the option to go Duelist or Guardian. You'll have a lot of damage over time skills, such as this Serrated Edge, where you have the bleed effects. And then the Guardian kind of gives you a bit more survivability with a lot of like healing options. The Blade Master and the Gunslinger are the 2 classes that have lifesteal, and the Sage class actually does not have lifesteal. The Sage class just has a regular heal once you do get later and leveled up. If we take a look at the graph, it shows that the survivability is the highest for the Blade Master, as well as control effects, because the Blade Master does have arguably, I would say, the best control effects out of the 3. We did some research on the first few skills that you will start off with, and the Blade Master is the best choice for early game. No matter which class you choose early on, all 3 of their first starting skills all do the same amount of damage. The difference comes into the cooldowns. So the Blade Masters starting off 3 skills actually have the lowest cooldown. It is only 26 seconds. So you'll be able to spam out your abilities a lot faster. So this is really, really good early game. I would say the Blade Master is the best. Once you get to like R1 level 180 is when the Blade Master is not as good as it was early game. The Gunslinger has the second fastest cooldown at 31 seconds with its beginning skills. And then finally, the worst class to choose early game would be the Sage. The Sage has really, really high cooldowns. Total of 42 seconds among those 3 starting skills. However, the Sage class really shines very, very late game. Once you do have access to skills like this, that will reduce the cooldown, so that way you can really spam your attacks a lot faster. Moving along, we next have the Gunslinger class. This is your highest ranged damage dealer, but does not have the highest damage. If you take a look at the graph, you'll notice that between the Blade Master and the Gunslinger, They about pretty much do the same amount of damage. The only difference is the gunslinger gives you the range and a bit more support as well. Your two subclasses are sharpshooter and technologist. Sharpshooter giving you increased true dodge stats, so that way you have the ability to dodge skills a lot easier. And then technologist putting out a bit more damage as well as some control effects as well. And the final class we have is the sage. This is the highest damage dealing class in this game. You'll see represented by the graph, it is at the top. The sage also is the second best when it comes to control effects, with the blade master being the first. For your two subclasses, you have the ritualist and the runecaster. The ritualist will go ahead and give you those lower cooldowns as well as some really good control effects, whereas the runecaster gives you a lot of passive damage, some damage over time, and also like abilities to help put out more damage as well. All right, we are on the blade master. Let's check out these skills. There is also one other thing that I want to mention. It doesn't show up right now because this character's level is too low, but once we get to the sage class, I will show you that you will have access to the skill wheel where you can go ahead and change your skills and kind of manipulate them. We're going to go over that in a little bit. I just want to go over the blade master skills and the gunslinger skills, and then once we get to the sage, I'll show you some more in-depth stuff. You do have to reach, I believe it's like 140 R1 before you will see like the equipped wheel and all that other extra features. So again, you just have to keep playing the game and level up. But some things that I just wanted to note with the blade master is these first three skills, like I mentioned, these are pretty much all the same no matter what class you choose. They all do relatively the same exact amount of damage, and they all hit the same amount of targets. Most of these skills have to do with putting on the bleed effect. Deals a bunch of damage to enemies, but bleeding targets will receive a percentage, a number of bleed stacks of extra skill damage. And then a really strong PvP skill you would take is the Tiger Pounce, and dazes the target for 1.5 seconds. This is pretty much kind of like a stun. They can't do anything. You'll see you got stuff like this life steal. Each attack has a 15% chance to trigger, converts 20% of damage dealt into HP. And then you also have a heal as well. Each attack has a 20% chance to recover 10% of max HP. So a lot of these abilities for the Blade Master, once you get to R2, are very, very strong. You have a lot of passive healing. The only downside to these is that it's a percentage chance to get that healing, so it's not always going to heal, especially when it comes to world bosses, like doing them solo. But that's not until you reach Blade Master 3 and you do have all of this passive healing. So you can pretty much go ahead and you can tank a world boss by yourself, and you'll just keep healing up, and you don't really have to worry about partying up with people or having anyone help you. For PvP content, I would say the Blade Master is not the best, but it is, I would say the Blade Master is better than the Gunslinger. I would say the Gunslinger is probably one of the weakest when it comes to PvP content. The biggest advantage you will have is the fact that you have stuff like this true dodge stat by a percentage. So this gives you a better opportunity to have your opponent's attacks miss you. And then once you reach R2, level 220, this is when you become super, super dangerous, and you go ahead and unlock the Blinding Hail. Deals a bunch of damage with a 20% chance to blind them. Blinded targets will lose 50% of their accuracy for 3 seconds. This just makes it even harder for people to hit the Gunslinger class. The Gunslinger class is very susceptible to control effects. So if you pick a Blade Master or a Sage and you drop any type of control effect on a Gunslinger, it's pretty much GG and they can't do anything. They have really low health, and also for Gunslinger too, they only have a skill that does life steal. So the Gunslinger class doesn't have like a straight skill that heals them, which only really helps if you're putting out damage. The Gunslinger has some potential for PvP combat. Gunslinger paired up with a Blade Master is a very, very deadly combo. If you can have your Blade Masters protect your Gunslingers, at that point, then you can really, really shine. For PvE content, the Gunslinger, I feel, just doesn't put out enough damage. Now, you'll notice on the right side, you'll see see we have skills, we have equip, we have gadget, we also have promotion. You can change your subclass. I'm not sure how many times you can change it for free. It just says you may change your class again for free after promotion. And then aside from that, we have equipped. Now this is where you go ahead and you can equip all of your skills. You have manual combat, and then you also have auto combat. You have arena configuration and then battle configuration. Arena is if you're doing like arena PvP combat. You'll see at the bottom it says while in auto mode, skills are cast automatically in order of priority. I'll do a more in-depth video on the skills and like the wheel and everything. But one thing I just want to show you real quick is if you need help with this, you can click on the bottom right corner where it says recommended plan. And this will give you system recommendations, and you'll see top player plan. So you can kind of come through here and look at some of the top players and what skill builds they are using. And then you'll just click use, and it will instantly have that transfer over to your wheel. You'll see for our first passive, our attacks have a 10% chance to trigger a passive ability that increases our attack by a percentage. So a lot of these Sage skills are like this, where you're pretty much just have a chance, a percentage chance to pump out more damage. Same thing over here. You have like the corrosion. Any skill has a 10% chance to trigger corrosion, which just deals extra skill damage. That's pretty much all this Sage is. Nothing fancy. It's just a ridiculous amount of damage. If you're a big spender, this class will be really strong for you. It's pretty much to the point where you'll be one-shotting everyone because the amount of damage you put out is just so ridiculous, and the other classes just can't really compete with it because like I said, it just has the highest amount of damage. And if you just spend, you know, even $100 and you have such a huge boost, you pretty much just dominate everyone. Once you reach Sage 2, this becomes one of your best abilities for PvP. You have the Earthbound Thrust. Deals a bunch of damage, but more importantly, the target will also be rooted for an amount of time, so pretty much they can't get away from you. This is such a deadly skill against the gunslingers. You pretty much make them rooted so that they can't move, they can't get away from you. You'd have your Blade Master teammates jump on them, or pretty much you can just burst them down as the Sage class. So this is a really, really strong PvP skill right here. You also have Wind Step as well. Blinks forward while recovering 10% HP, 5% chance to deal 2 times damage lasting for 4 seconds. So again, you're getting healing right here. This isn't life steal. This is just straight up healing. You're just gonna boop pop this and you get an instant heal. This is something that the gunslinger class does not have. And then for Array Divine Sweep, if a fatal crit is triggered, the skill's cooldown has a 30% chance to be cleared. So you can pretty much just spam it endlessly, which is why the Sage class is so deadly late game. Like I said, I would say that the Sage class is slow early game, but once you get to Sage 3, like R2 level 240, and you start to get these skills unlocked, it is really hard for people to compete with the Sage class, especially if you are like a whale pay to win player, because you just put out a ridiculous amount of damage. And the skill cooldowns become relatively non-existent, and you just keep spamming the same skills over and over again. That is it. I hope you guys and girls enjoyed the video. Stay happy, stay safe. I'll see y'all later. Peace.